2.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. It's my pleasure to be with you in this program at the Faculty of Quran and Sunnah Studies, University Science, Malaysia. Salamullahi alaikum wa rahmatuhu wa barakatuhu. I'm going to talk about the knowledge integration movement and what are its future directions according to what I think. Now, Islamization of knowledge has got a history. So this movement started at the turn of the 15th century, which was around 1779. It wasn't the only thing that arose. People talked about Islamization of knowledge, but also Islamization of economics, Islamization of politics, and Islamization of society. So it was part and parcel of a big ideological movement in the whole Ummah. At the beginning, integration of knowledge started as a wish, a vision, and a dream. But soon, it became a real project. Why? Because knowledge concerns every father, every mother, and every child, and everybody goes to school. So they're interested to know about knowledge and how to Islamize it. So it stopped being a dream and became a practical project. The project had two tracks. One track was saying that we need to de-Westernize or decolonize academic disciplines, that the disciplines that we teach in schools and the university reflect the Western world of view, the secular world of view. We need to remove those aspects that are not about the knowledge itself, but they are cultural and philosophical imports from the Western civilization. The other track was to add Islamic values and concepts to the knowledge before we teach it. So there were these two tracks going alongside one another. But there was also another track that is still strong. They just said Islamization of knowledge means teach the classical Islamic sciences, teach Quran, Sunnah, Hadith, and forget about everything else. You cannot ignore it. It's still strong. It has got schools, it has got universities, it has got everything. They say that the Islamic sciences and those whom we teach, once they understand them very well, will later on Islamize the other disciplines of knowledge. Now, we started with Islamization of knowledge, IOK, and we ended up with integration of knowledge. The acronym is the same, but there is a difference. The term Islamization caused a lot of polemical arguments. Why? Because once you talk about Islamization, you give the impression that you want to impose Islam on Muslim and non-Muslim societies. So many people were not comfortable with this terminology. So gradually it was replaced by a more neutral term, integration of knowledge. That is in the 1990s and early 2000s. And today, most of the people talk about integration of knowledge. However, as we are in this scenario, there was a parallel movement in Europe and America calling for integration of knowledge. These European and American intellectual circles were rebelling against the empirical source of knowledge. They were rebelling against empiricism being the only source of knowledge. They were rebelling against the concept that there are no other sources of knowledge because they knew from experience that there are other sources of knowledge that humans need and humans use. They realized that medicine, engineering, and other disciplines needed input from religions, from cultures, from humans. Humans have got non-rational thoughts that you cannot measure empirically, human psychology, human emotions. So they said no. Knowledge that doesn't consider all of these other sources of impact or knowledge or influence on the human cannot be the best one. So they were also calling for integration of knowledge. So we ended up, both of us, calling for the same thing, to integrate knowledge. But this convergence of the integration of knowledge in the Islamic sense and the integration of knowledge in the Western one, we got together, but still we are different. Because you ask the question, what do we want to integrate? From the Muslim perspective, we want to integrate Islamic values into empirical knowledge. Actually, from our point of view, empirical knowledge is also Islamic. But there are other sources of knowledge. We want to integrate them. So we wanted to integrate values from the Quran and Sunnah, but the Westerners had different things that they wanted to integrate. I don't want to go into them. Since the word integration now has become to mean many different things, maybe it is time to come back to the term Islamization of knowledge, because it emphasizes ideological distinctiveness, that there is an ideology, there is an idea, there is a philosophy we are talking about. We don't want to be lost in the supermarket of ideas. Having said that, the term Islamization of knowledge is still sensitive, and there are attempts to find alternatives that we can use. To be pragmatic, we can use them, but without avoiding the confusions that, or the sensitivities that may arise. And several people, I think, inshallah, you will hear, have alternative terms. But the essence of it is integrate the values of the Quran and Sunnah into the disciplines of knowledge. Now, I want to talk about the balance sheet of the Islamic we've been working since about 1980. If you count, that is about 40 years. So it's time to look at the balance and see what have we done. I think the main achievement was that this movement fostered or caused the setting up of schools and universities all over the world that are integrated. Schools are found in Muslim and non-Muslim countries, universities in Muslim and non-Muslim countries that are integrated. Their aim is to integrate human knowledge with divine knowledge from the Quran. And as they attempt to make the integration, they developed integrated curricula and integrated teaching materials. We are now working in Malaysia to produce such integrated teaching materials. The same effort is going on in Central Asia, in East Africa, in Southern Africa, and in the Arab world. Because you don't want to talk about integration of knowledge when you cannot answer the question, where is the meat? People asking you, show us what you're talking about. So you need to have a book. So what I want to say, we have achieved a lot in this area, curricula and books. And also we have achieved a lot in the practical area. Islamic banks, Islamic finance, even the food industry, the halal food industry. These are practical attempts to integrate the divine teachings of Islam in the Quran and Sunnah into the realities of life, which is the hope and desire of every Muslim wherever he is. But we still have challenges in IOK, and I think these challenges are bigger than even the achievements. We have not yet done enough research to develop this concept further. Sometimes we talk about it as a dream as we started. We talk about it as a slogan. We need to fill in real academic research and academic ideas and academic materials. And the other challenge is we shouldn't try to put Islamic values in the knowledge that exists, because then we shall always be behind. People will produce knowledge, and then we'll spend time putting Islamic values in that knowledge. By the time we finish, they have moved on. So we are always followers. Really, we need to take the initiative and do research with the Islamic paradigm in all disciplines of knowledge, mathematics, engineering, medicine, so that we move away from adding Islamic values or subtract non-Islamic values from these disciplines. We need to move away from that to go to creating new integrated or Islamized knowledge. What we want to become is to be creators of knowledge, to be innovators, and not to continue being consumers of knowledge produced by others. At the moment, the level of research in the Ummah is not up to the mark. We are still consuming knowledge. But inshallah, I hope and pray that we shall have more motivation to do research and be producers of knowledge. But that knowledge will be integrated because the people producing it already believe in integrated knowledge. Thank you very much for listening to me. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.